Hello friends, today we're going to do some preservation. We're going to preserve garlic, onions, we're going to make brown sugar, and we're going to go ahead and fill up our 5-gallon bucket with flour and fill up our kitchen container with flour, and then anything left over we're going to put in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. Now, if this is something you are interested in, please hit that subscribe button. If this video is of any interest to you, hit that like button. We would love to have you part of the Grammy family. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get this video started. On the list today, we're going to preserve some garlic. I found a recipe on Barefoot in the Kitchen on how to preserve garlic. We're going to go ahead and chop and freeze some onions. We're going to make brown sugar. Last night I made some cookie dough, some chocolate chip cookie doughs from the chocolate chips I got from Azure. So I made some chocolate chip cookie doughs. We're going to cook those. And at the moment we are cooking bacon. So I baked the bacon on parchment paper. I do have the oven set on 400 degrees. And this is the last batch that needs to be cooked. It usually takes about 20-30 minutes to cook a pork. So while that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and get started on chopping and peeling the garlic for the preservation of it. Barefoot in the Kitchen says you can just boil some vinegar and put the peeled garlic in a mason jar, pour the hot boiling vinegar over top of it, and then you just put it in the refrigerator. It says it'll last up to a year. I don't know if you saw my last video, I had an Azure haul where I bought 5-pound bags of garlic. But I do have a few cloves in here that are either going to go bad or they're going to start sprouting. There are some soft spots on it. So I'm going to go ahead and go through this and get this in some jars for a later date. And I have some onions here that I'm going to go ahead and peel up and put in vacuum sealed bags. And then I noticed when I was making the cookies last night that my brown sugar is empty. So I need to make some brown sugar. And of course we have the cookies we have to cook. Alright. Now we're getting ready to take the last batch of cookies out of the oven. Keep your cutting board from moving around on your countertop. Just put a kitchen towel underneath of it and it'll keep it from moving. So we need to go ahead and get these separated. Oh, that one is starting to sprout. I don't know if you can see that. So we're going to go ahead and get these separated. That one just shriveled up. That's why we need to get to this today. I'm not going to smash these. I'm just going to peel them. Try to keep them as whole as possible. It's got a spot on it right there. We're going to go ahead and take that off. Starting to sprout. Alright, so that's one. I'll bring you right back when we're done with all of them. Some of these do have some brown spots. We're just going to go through and peel that off. Ready to go. Alright, so that was the last one. And we ended up with that many. So, right now we're going to go ahead and clean up our station so we can get ready to work on the onions. Left, and all these scraps, we're just going to put in a Ziploc bag. Get as much of the air out of it as possible. And we'll put this in the freezer and save it for when we need to make some kind of stock. Now we're going to work on the onions. I have the onions in this bowl. I'm going to put the chopped onions in here and all the scraps in here. Just like the garlic, we're going to save the onion scraps for our stock. So we're just going to cut off the top and the root. And then we're just going to sit here and peel these onions. All this goes in the scrap bowl. And then we're just going to dice it up. So I'm going to work on the rest of this, and then I'll bring you right back when we're ready to move on to the next step for the onions. Okay, we got all the onions chopped up. We need to portion these out and put them in vacuum seal bags to put in the freezer. And just like the garlic skins, we're going to save the onion skins and the ends and use that for bone broth. No waste. So out of the onions, we got onions and the start of a bone broth. We got our garlic, and we got the start of a bone broth. In this pot, I'm going to put some vinegar. Not sure how much I would need. We're going to start off with a liter. Get that turned on. And now we're going to put a lid on it. We're going to go ahead and get that up to a boil. We have our 4 jars here and our whole garlic cloves. We're just going to go ahead and just put some garlic in each one of these. Alright, so we have 4 jars of garlic. And then now we're just going to wait for the vinegar to come to a boil, and we'll move on to the next step. Our vinegar came up to a boil. I transferred it to this pouring pitcher. So I got my funnel, top off all the garlic. Alright, for 4 of these, I do have vinegar left over. Cups in there. I had a quart, but I only needed a pint. We're just going to let these sit for a bit, and once they cool off, we'll put a lid on them and stick them in the refrigerator. And Barefoot in the Kitchen says that this will last about a year, and you're not supposed to be able to taste the vinegar in the garlic, but we will see. Now it's time to move on to making brown sugar. Making homemade brown sugar, it's very easy. It's just 2 ingredients. All you need is sugar. I'm using an organic cane sugar. I get it in a 25-pound bag, and I get it from Azure. And then you use molasses. So I also got this from Azure Standard. I have about that much left in there. So all of this I've used as brown sugar in the past. So we're going to make about 4 cups of brown sugar. So we're going to start off by putting 4 cups of sugar into our stand mixer, and we're going to put 2 tablespoons of molasses. I was kind of a medium. That's just my preference. You can put as much molasses or as little molasses as you like. Just get it to the flavor and consistency that you like. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on this brown sugar. So I have the stand mixer right here, and I have my cane sugar right here. So we're just going to go ahead and put 4 cups of sugar in the mixing bowl. And then we're going to start off with 2 tablespoons of molasses. And we're going to go ahead and start mixing this. We're going to mix this until the molasses and the sugar bind together and there are no clumps of the molasses left over. and then probably take about 10-15 minutes. Then we'll just put it in Ziploc bags and put it in put it in a container. It's good for a couple months. So whenever you need brown sugar, you don't need to go to the store and buy brown sugar. If you have molasses and you have cane sugar or any kind of white sugar, you can actually make brown sugar at home cheaper and easier. And that's exactly what we're looking for. This beautiful brown sugar. Now we're going to go ahead and put these in Ziploc bags. And I have 2 Ziploc bags right here that I will divide this into. And then I'll put it in a Tupperware type container with a snap-on lid and keep it in my pantry until I'm ready to use it. You use this just like you would any other brown sugar, any kind of recipes or cakes that calls for brown sugar. This is a perfect way to make your own. And you do want to remove all the air from the bag before you seal it. It helps keep it from getting rock hard like most brown sugar does. So we're just going to seal the top, leave a little corner open, and remove all the air. Now we have 1 3/4 pounds of brown sugar at our disposal whenever we're ready to make something sweet. Our chopped onions here that we're going to put in vacuum sealed bags. So I have my vacuum sealer right here. So what I did is I just went ahead and sealed the one in. That's a cup of onions. So we have a cup of onions. And now we're going to vacuum seal that. Try to get it as flat as possible. It's easier to go into the freezer when it's flat. So put 1 cup of chopped onions in each bag. So when we're ready to cook something that needs onions, we'll have chopped onions ready in the freezer. Just take it out and cook it like normal onions. That's the last of the onions. And inside you have a moisture collector. Make sure that gets washed after each use. And part of preservation, I bought the 51-pound bag of flour yesterday. You can see that on my Azure haul for September 2022. I did fill up my 5-gallon bucket with flour, and I went ahead and filled up my canisters that I keep on this island with flour. And the rest of them, I'm going to be put them in Mylar bags and then put oxygen absorber for long-term storage. I use this first, then I go to my 5-gallon bucket, and then I will go to the Mylar bags as last resort. 51-pound bag of flour fills up one of my 5-gallon buckets, and it fill this up, and we're going to see how many we have left over to put in Mylar bags. So I have a kitchen scale here, and I'm going to put these as 5 pounds. This is a gallon Mylar bag, and I'm going to make them so that they're 5 pounds. I do have a coffee cup in this bag that I've cut down. And we're just going to fill this up and weigh it to be 5 pounds. I'm not sure how many cc's of oxygen absorbers I'm going to need in here. You can see my cookies right there. And so I'm going to go ahead and finish this bag of flour, and then I will bring you back and let you know how many we have. I'm going to have 4 bags of flour. 3 of them are 5 pounds. 1 of them is 4 pounds and 7 ounces. I have 300 cc oxygen absorbers. If you see the pink eye, that means it's still good. But once I open this, I'm going to put 2 in each of these bags. It's going to be a total of 600 cc's oxygen absorbers in each of these bags. But as soon as I open this, I'm going to drop the 2 in each one, and then I'm going to vacuum seal it really quick. Because once these things touch oxygen, they're done. Alright, that's 2 in each. Let me go vacuum seal this real quick. That's 2 oxygen absorber in each one of these Mylar bags, and I'm going to go vacuum this up real quick so that they don't absorb any more oxygen. Vacuum sealed bag and vacuum seal it. No oxygen can get in there. It's been sealed. So now we're going to go and seal these up so that the oxygen absorbers can do their job. And that was a very productive day today. So thank you for sticking around. We got 3 pounds of bacon cooked. We went ahead and baked some cookies. We got our garlic and our vinegar. We made 4 cups of brown sugar. We chopped up and vacuum sealed 7 cups of onions. We filled our flour bucket up today, as well as our kitchen flour. And then the leftover flour from that 51-pound bag, we put in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers for later use. Thank you for hanging out with me today in the kitchen. Hope this is something you enjoyed. Preservation does not mean just canning, dehydrating, or freeze drying. It also means saving some eggs and flours and making cookies. Could also be just whole garlic cloves that were going to go bad if we didn't get those preserved. Preserving is also chopping onions and putting that in the freezer for later use. And flour in Mylar bags and our 5-gallon bucket. Thanks for watching today. I do appreciate you. But please hit that like button, subscribe. I would really appreciate it.